I'm doing baby bibs. So the objective here is I got just a simple pattern, printed it out. It's for a boy, so I'm making baby bibs with flannel, and the backing is going to be terry cloth. Hopefully that works well. This is all just, some of this stuff was scrap from other things. Now I'm looking at this going, I don't know if these will even work because they're strips. Yeah, they're too narrow. I thought I was gonna do, though, so one of the things that I was thinking about with this is making the bib with an elastic neck piece that just snapped. I know that when I was raising my kids, I didn't like the things that either velcroed or snapped in the back, because then you have to get them to lean up, or so my intention was to make them have a piece of elastic in it, like take the bib and shape it to where, and then have the elastic come around like a scrunchie. In fact, I've seen a bunch of scrunchy bibs, and so I probably need to actually figure that out. So if I stop, or if I shape the, so I definitely want to do it equally. Finding me a, there we go. All right. So if I was to make, needs to have, if I had the same curve up here, basically, all right, here I am thinking out loud again. I hadn't figured something out that I thought I figured out. All right, by the way, this rotary tool is done for fabric. It's no longer a thing for fabric, so I don't care. You can tell it's almost like a perforated versus otherwise. But I just wanted that curve because I wanted the bottom curve, which is this, because I'd printed it funky before. So if I put this and brought it in, so I'm laying that on top, and if I take something like that, because that's where it's coming, it's starting to curve in. I think it's more like this. It's close to an equivalent. So I bring that around like that. And then I just pull this up like that. And that will give me, go ahead, and I might regret this, but I think it'll work. I said this rotary is way less than stellar, but I guess I could just change it out, but I've got other ones for fabric, so I'm not really worried about that part. Okay, so this will be the base. I need to tape that. Yeah, there we go. And now I'm going to figure out how long, looks like to me about 4 inches. Let's see if I can put this on my grid here. We might be doing some prototyping here, because a baby's neck is really small. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Itty bitty neck, big head. Anyway, so plenty of good size there, and then come out with the elastic and make a snap. Yeah, left side snap. Sew the elastic on like that. So if I have 4 inches of elastic and then just cover that with material, we'll say it's 6 or 7 inches maybe. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I just make this? Oh, isn't that funny? So the pieces that I have, they're strips here. They're actually, see if this one's a strip too. It is. Although I'm thinking about just using these as the tubes. But I also have another fabric down here that was using for the iPad. It's minky, and it would be super soft against their neck. I can make some strips, 4-inch wide strips, turn it into a tube, and make the little thing on them. That might be a thing. I just have to make the end of it flat, so that way it snaps in easily. Alright, prototyping yet again. I can't seem to do anything by a pattern. Have you ever? I mean, I know y'all don't know me quite yet, but can't seem to do anything by a pattern. Just gotta reinvent the wheel every stinking time. Yeah, I'm like going, that's probably not my brightest plan in the world, but it is a plan. And so that way, so this will be out of the fabric and terry cloth backer, and then I'll just make a bunch of tubes with the elastic pieces, and on all the tubes will be the minky, I think. What do you think? I think it'll be gorgeous, because the back end of it's just going to be nice and soft, and yeah. And I guess if they don't like them, they won't use them. That's usually what happens with gifts anyway, that's maybe not their thing. Anyway, and I should have enough for a bunch of bibs, honestly. So I've got these pieces, I'm iffy on that, iffy on this. But I've also got this, which would be kind of cute. It's just a flannel denim. Let's see how the first one goes, and see how it lands. So which one am I gonna do first? What's my prototype? Is this even wide enough? Can I get 2 of them out of this if I wanted to? This one has already been used for something else, so it's not as big of a fat quarter. It's got a hole in it right there, it looks like. Anyway, don't know what I was doing there. Yep, it's big enough for 2. I need to go get my terry cloth. I wonder how much of that I even have. Do I have to go to the store and go buy towels? And is anything wide enough that I have? Questions. Alright, I think what I need to do though is I need to cut out a few of these, cut me out 4 inches wide so I can tube the minky. So, we'll do this. And then go see if I can find my terry cloth, which I think is in a bag and stuff in my other room. Because I could have swore I saw that stuff when we were moving some of my fabric stores. Honestly, I didn't think I'd even use it, but it's dawning on me it's there, so why buy more, right? Right? Alright. So I'm just going to rough cut. Well, it's not that rough of a cut, really. I'm just not as worried about it being perfect, because it doesn't matter that much. This is calling for, it looks like, a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Not that it matters, because I really don't think it matters that much. gonna guess that it's time to change the blade already. I say already, I'm thinking, how much have I used this? What have I done? What have I been doing I probably haven't been as disciplined about just using it on fabrics either, knowing me. Okay. So there's 2 fronts. I just need to get some terry cloth. I wonder if they usually face these. Nah. I was going to put PUL on it, but kind of make them waterproof, but I don't want to really do that because a lot of people use these things as washcloth, and so I don't want to do that. All right, well, I'm going to go find me some terry cloth, and then I'm going to cut the Mickey. So I'll catch you in a few. Okay, so we've done, real quick, I did 2 of the flannel ones with the terry cloth backers, turned them, and the next one I'll show you. I'm kind of getting tired. And then I decided to go ahead and do the tube of Minky. It's just a 3-inch stitched tube. But I thought I'd try to show also how I'm going to go about turning this. Although it's a little longer than... Okay, I want to show you a little trick that I use for turning tubes. So this is just a 12 milliliter syringe with the pieces and parts cut off. The plungers out of it, so that kind of gives a nice entry. And I have a number 10 old style straight knitting needle, which this is what I use for doing like lip balm holders, because you got to turn those tubes too. So what I do is I basically get a bunch in the top of it, end of it. I shove it down in there, and then you only can do this if your end is open, by the way. And then I just literally work it. And the tube is turned. There it is. Okay, and I'll put some... I need to figure out real quick. Alright, so the elastic... Let's make sure you guys are in frame here. Alright, so the elastic... So what I did here is I left each one of these with that's where I turned it as well. I used the hole that I'm going to sew these into to turn the bib. You only got to have a little bit. I mean, if it was a knit, or I should say, if it was a weave, you'd have more because but the knits hold together better. So there's probably 3/4 inch in there, which is more than enough. And then what I'm going to do here is figure out to complete the neck. Let me clip that. Alright, so in order to complete that neck, and it'll have elastic in it, so it'll be a little bunchy, which is what we want, right? A little bunchy. And then it's going to come over here and have enough that I can put a snap on it. Now what I'll probably do is just cut this, roll it inside itself, and sew it. So it's nothing fancy. Just be straight, but sew it. I think that's too big though. That is so cute. Just I'm seeing that the seam on this, I need to flip it. But this will give me my distance. Yeah, I'll need to flip that so the seam is downward. It'll just look a little nicer that way. So basically what we're looking at here is like that. Let's say it's closer to like that. What do we think? I think that's good. So I'm going to need, I want to say an inch past the end there, something to, and then another inch so I have the material to roll in. So I don't want to do that. Let's see what our result is. Seven inches. Well, it's actually about 7.5 inches. 7 inches would work just fine, actually. So I think that's fine. All right, now what I want to do is dig out some elastic. And I want this really doesn't matter. I've got a whole bunch of this 3/4 inch. That's way too stiff. A bunch of string elastic. Don't know why I have that, but it doesn't matter. Oh, here's, because it doesn't matter if it's no roll, because we're literally going to bungee it. I think I'm going to use that. It's not no roll, but it doesn't matter. So all I'm trying to do here is take and put I'm finding my turner somewhere. There it is. I don't know why it's over there. That's okay, but it doesn't matter. So this is an elastic turner. Basically, it's a pair of tweezers with a crimper. That's what it really amounts to. And then I'm gonna just figure out what I need to be here. Push that through these. And figure out how far I really want it. Alright, now I want that to, when I set it in there, it really won't matter, it can go either direction, but I want the end of it to have the elastic, and I want it sewed. It doesn't do much good if there isn't any point of tension. So I'm going to sew this real quick. Back stitch. I'm just like 1/8 of an inch seam allowance there. Doesn't matter. It just needs to catch. That's all that matters. Just needs to hold the elastic. Now, let's figure out how much do I really need of elastic. Knowing fully well where our tube is longer than we need it. But how far do I need the elastic to be in it? That's why the reason I left the end on it, so I have something to keep a hold of. Alright. So my seam is now down. I mean, I could stitch that to keep it, but I don't know that it's necessary. So my seam is now down. How am I going to make that happen? Yeah. Okay, so my seam needs to go outside. I'm going to push that in my opening here. Make sure my terry cloth is rolling properly. I think I'm gonna want to say just a tad bit more. 5 inches, that sounds pretty practical. So basically it's an inch worth of stretch. Alright, now, because of the way this is working at this juncture, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I'm not sure if it's going to be useful or not yet, but what I want to do is I need to prepare this to roll over, which I kind of have to do by hand, maybe. All I'm trying to do is give it clean ends. Finished ends. That's all I'm looking for there. I need to make sure my elastic is going to bunch. That's why I'm glad I have the holder on it at least. Alright. What I want it to do is be trying to get the seam to the downside, as well as make sure my ends are right. As well as make sure I have enough. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a seam. I can feel where the edge of that tweezer is, so there I know my elastic's right there. I'm going to run a seam right here. Of course, remove the tweezers before they're a problem, because we don't want to break needles now, do we? Here's the clincher. I got to make sure that my finger still has the elastic in there the way I want it. And I'm going to lay the tube down. Turn it. Make sure my inside stuff is where I want it. There we go. It's about 1/8 of an inch in. I'm just doing it by feel because seriously, it's fur. I can't see diddly. I know that that's about where I'm at. And backstitch. Let's see what we got. And I'm going to put cam snaps. Try out my cam snaps. Alright. So, a little bit of spring there. Seam down. Okay. Now, because of what I'm doing here, I'm top stitching, so I might as well just top stitch, right? So I'm gonna hit this at the nice point of the corner because I'm gonna top stitch all the way around. Because why not? I'm there, right? So I'm just running about 1/8 of an inch top stitch. Alright. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, so we're top stitched. And I'm going to add, I just got to decide whether I want to put the snap on the top or the bottom, or the top, or, so if I put the snap on the top, it's easy to see. Oop. I have to go back over that. Okay, note the next one. I gotta make sure that that's in better, because now I'm gonna have to go back over it in general. Darn it. Here, I thought I was doing really nice. It's fine though. It's not a big deal. Now it's super reinforced. Whatever. I don't like unfinished stuff where I can help it. Sometimes I just don't see it. And I think we're all the same way, you know. It's like, oops, I stared at that too long. So that's pretty nice. All right, let's see what we got. So that when it comes around, I mean, it would look nicer to be that way. Yeah, we're gonna go on the bottom side. Okay, hang on. Where are my snaps? My snips? Nope, that's zippers. Where'd I put them? I don't know where I put them, y'all. I know they're here somewhere, though, because I just bought the whole thing. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, found the snaps right smack in front of my face. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. Alright. 'Tis what it is, right? Right. Yeah, it is. Anywho. So this is, I'll be honest with you, these, I would link these in the description, but they're the off-brand, and I'm not in love with them, but they're what I got for right now. The brand cam snaps are much better. They're a higher quality of plastic. So, anywho, I don't need black. What do we want to do here? Blue, white, probably white. What colors of blue do we have that would be cute? Do I have the right color of blue? Nah, I'll just do white. At least on this pattern anyway. We'll see what we'll do on the other ones. We'll see. So, I'm going to pop a snap on this thing if I can remember how to do it. Snaps really aren't that difficult. By the way, if anybody's nervous about doing snaps, you literally are just putting one piece into the other. They're not a big deal. Really not. Okay, I gotta get a bottom. The whole point is that one piece has to go inside of the other, and then it has the little peg to hold them down. That's it. This is one of the cases where having like a flat bowl that you can sort through easier, and then you turn around and like a flexible, it's like a silicone, but silicone might be too grippy. Something that you can squeeze and put everything back. Anyway, but it needs to be enough where you can actually sort through something. Okay, anywho, where's my awl? I was using it for a thing. Okay, here we go. So what we're going to do here is I want to poke through. So I want it to land right about here-ish. I usually make the outside piece of the thing, the top. Not saying it necessarily has to be done that way. That's just usually what I do. How do I do this now? I think it's like that. You just squeeze it, and it smashes the plastic around the other plastic. That's really all it is. Okay, so now what we want to do is line up theoretically in my little square. Kind of want it center-ish. Yeah, I think it'll work. Hitting that exact point again. There's that challenge. All right, now I need to pull this off. See, back when I had kids, we had the bibs that tied. We had the bibs with the Velcro, but most of the time I think the ones with the Velcro, the kids can pull them off so stinking easy that they were kind of useless. All right, so here we go. It's got enough stretch to it, I think, to keep it kind of snuggish. It's a reasonable baby head. I think my next note is going to be move that over just a tad. What do we think? Not bad. Yeah, that needs to be moved over a tad, or this one needs to be moved over a tad. It's just uneven. Alright. Not a hard prototype. I mean, a person could do some really cool things on this. I'm not going to, but they could. I do think moving this over and this over just a smidge would be, but it's all finished seam, so it's not a big deal. And that little bit of elasticity, and that was a 7-inch tube with a 5-inch piece of elastic, and then the snaps. I am back. I don't know how many hours later. So this was my prototype. Remember, we figured out to move everything over a little bit, and I had it clipped on the left. Now I did the same thing with the next one, same pattern, except for I did move over the bungee part. And so we have 3 more, except for some reason, I think I must have I switched from working on the terry cloth to working on the fleece side. I don't know. Either way, they ended up clipping on the right side instead of the left side, but I think they're fine. They're good. Could go either way, really. So we have 3 of these. That's it, because I'm out of that kind of elastic and I don't want to change it. Kind of like that part. Kind of like that kind of elastic. And I'd have to cut more minky. So she's getting 3 of the blues, 3 of the sailor or seed kind of stuff, as well as the quilt. And I'm going to, this was in another video if you want to see how I did this, I'll probably link all that stuff up anyway. So the gift is 3 or 5 baby bibs and a handmade quilt. Now I'm going to figure out, I think I'm going to make a drawstring bag for the wrapping, because I hate bags. I refuse to buy them when I've got crap everywhere that I can make. I'm just looking around thinking that maybe I might have some fabric because I can make a drawstring bag pretty easy. I'm almost certain I have ribbon for it. Worst case scenario, I've definitely got string. with stuff that I probably can't use for anything else, or that I don't know that I would use. For now, I wouldn't be used for anything else, but I didn't know I'd be using this stuff, so there's that. So I'm gonna figure out the drawstring bag here, and I'll bring you along to wrap it all up. Okay. Alrighty, well, the drawstring bag is almost done, but I thought I'd real quick take you along on the last bit of it. So I'm just putting the string in. All this is a rectangular. I've got 2 buttonholes on each side, on the outside of the tube, with a hem like 1 inch, 1.5 inches wide, and all the edges are serged. I did actually put a second stitch along everything because my serger's timing is a little off right now. So security, but at least the edges are also taken care of. And I'm just putting the string or the ribbon through. Alrighty, and we will be ready to wrap it up. I was really hoping I had some red ribbon because it would have just been nice for the decorative aspect, but I didn't, so we have white. It is what it is. I'm very much about using what I got in these kind of scenarios. I don't like to go out to get something specific. I guess if I do a bunch of this stuff, then I would have a better arrangement of colors, but I haven't yet, so we're just gonna... All I'm gonna do is, if I can get the thing even. I'm tired. My feet actually hurt at this point. I need to set myself up to where I sit at my machine more often. But I didn't, so that's okay. Anyhow, drawstring bag. Okay. Vintage fabric. It's nothing fancy. People probably will think it's weird, to be honest, but they already know I'm weird. This is not news. They already know I'm a little bit different. I think they're cute, whether they're really nice or not. We'll see. I mean, in theory, they should work beautifully. Alright, so I'm just going to put that in there. I did measure it out so it was snug-ish. You know, it's not like all... Yeah, there we go. Drawstring it. But if you're, well, maybe if I tie a bow. What do we think? Would have been much cuter if it was red. But I think it will do. So if I keep these longer, make sure they stay longer. So that way it's easy to figure out. What I don't want to do is, you know how when you're doing you've got, you know, a situation where you get people watching you and doing, you know, the opening gifts, and all of a sudden you turn something into knots. So maybe by having these this way, it'll... What do you think? Is that It's weird. I mean, honestly, just the fabric's a little bit weird, but it's what I have, and it fits for a little boy, and I'll make a... You know, I should have put a pocket on there to put the card in. That would have been really cute. I'm glad I've done the thing. Alright? So, we'll catch you on the next one. Liz handcrafted out, and we'll see you later.